Hello, everyone. We are live tonight. Didn't think we were going to make it. But, guys, welcome to Abe's Front Porch Talk and a Homicide. We have a good show for you tonight. This is the pig farmer, the Canadian pig farmer, also known Robert Pickton. So bear with us tonight. I don't know how long we're going to be here. Most of us got a lot of stuff we got to do after this live. We almost just had an idea to cancel this to another night, but decided to go on ahead and since we're here, get it done and over with. Also, I don't think we're going to be doing this 3 nights a week like I was hoping for. So this may just turn out to be 1 or 2 nights. Thank you for the view that we got. We got somebody in the room. Thank you for coming in. Subscribe if you haven't. Share out to others. This is going to be an awesome episode. Leave a comment if you can. Let us know who you are in the room. Just say hello and we'll say hello back to you. So we're going to go on and get started now. So this is the Canadian pig farmer, also known as Robert Pickton. Robert Pickton, the Canadian pig farmer, was born October 1949, died May 31st, 2024. He was also known as the Butcher, but he is believed to have murdered 26 women, and they were from various places, I believe. So in 2007, he was convicted on 6 counts of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole for 25 years. So therefore, he was looking at that amount of time. So basically, he had life in prison. I don't even think he made it to 25 years to get his parole at all. So that's one thing. So I'm going to let somebody else take over there. They got more on what I just said and where he was actually from and stuff like that. So I'm going to let the team take the rest of it over and then I'll jump in with the rest of my stuff. So which one of y'all want to jump in there?
Outcast.
Okay.
Yeah, since you got the early life.
Yeah. As you had mentioned, he was born on October 24th, 1949. Yeah. He had a brother and sister. His mom and dad sent his sister away because it was unladylike for her to be raised on the pig farm. Or it was an inappropriate setting, excuse me. And then he was bullied him and his brother was bullied in school. They came up with let's see, what was it? Because of their personal hygiene after sending her sons to school in dirty clothes reeking of manure and earning both the nickname Stinky Piggy.
Stinky Piggy.
He dropped out of school in 1963. He worked as a meat cutter for nearly 7 years before leaving to work full-time at his family's farm. After the deaths of their parents in the late 1970s, the Pickton siblings inherited the farm and sold parts of it to developers for $5.16 million.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Then, see, where else do I have? Kind of just jumping around here.
I didn't even get that far. You say 5.6 million?
5.16.
5.16.
And then, let's see. And then on March 23rd of 1997, Pickton was charged with the attempted murder of prostitute Wendy Lynn Estetter, whom he had stabbed 4 times during an altercation at his farm. She had told the police Pickton had cuffed her and inflicted lacerations upon her body. She escaped. She had escaped. She disarmed Pickton, and she had stabbed him with his own knife. Pickton sought treatment at Eagle Ridge Hospital while Estetter recovered at a nearby emergency room. Pickton was eventually released on a $2,000 bond. The attempted murder charge against Pickton was stayed on January 27th, 1998. When the prosecutors determined that Estetter, a drug addict, was too unstable for her testimony to help secure a conclusion.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And then turned around and he hosted parties. Let's see. Pickton had hosted
No,
parties at
Bailey.
an... Oh my god, I can't even read this. Too
Can't
tiny.
read.
At an 80 Hawk nightclub called Piggy's Palace in a converted slaughterhouse at the farm. Events at the venue attracted up to 2,000 people, including political and business figures, as well as Hells Angels members. Pickton and his brother were sued by can't even pronounce that. Anyways, some officials for violating zoning ordinances, neglecting the agriculture for which it had been zoned, and having altered a farm building for the purpose of holding recreations. And that's pretty much all I got.
That was a lot.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got. Yeah, well, you got the early years for sure, didn't you?
Yeah.
That club, it was called the Pig something, right?
Piggy's
Piggy
Palace.
Palace.
The Piggy Palace. I think I read that earlier. And the woman that got away, I believe I saw that in a video or a documentary I watched a couple of years ago on this.
Mm.
And it showed a woman in his home, and he tried to trap her, but she fought tooth and nail basically and got out, and she escaped, and she ran, and somehow or another, I can't remember the full thing about it, if she ran through the woods or through the farm and up to a highway, and then there was a car, a man and a woman, they were husband and wife. They were probably elderly, maybe at that time, mid age during that time frame, and they came up on this woman on the road, flagging them down. Well, you got to think during the time frame this happened in the late 70s, early 80s. There's no cell phones. There was only pay phones, but you had to be in the city just to get to a pay phone.
Mm.
So this woman is running for her life through a farm and probably no telling what else, just to get to a highway, just to get help. And she still had to trust two strangers that she didn't even know to help her and get in the vehicle with them to drive how many miles to another business somewhere where they can call 911 for help.
Yeah.
So this woman had to put her life all at risk because she was endangered by the pig farmer. And then these two people could have been serial killers, or they could have even worked for this man and been on his side and was out hunting her.
Right.
But that wasn't the case. They were actually just good people. And so they helped her, and she told her story, and she testified over it.
No.
And she's in the documentaries. So what do you have?
I've got the trial.
You got the trial?
Yeah.
All righty.
So his trial began 30th of January 2006, where he pleaded not guilty to 27 charges of first-degree murder. To determine what evidence might be admitted to the jury took most of the year. On 17th of March, one count was rejected by Justice James Williams for lack of evidence. Justice Williams severed the charges into one group of 6 counts and another of 20 on August 9th. The trial proceeded on the 6 counts. Justice Williams explained that trying all 26 charges at once would put a burden on the jury, as the trial could have lasted up to 2 years and would increase the possibility of a mistrial. The remaining 20 charges were stayed on 4th of August 2010. He faced first-degree murder charges on 22nd of January 2007 and the deaths of Frey, Abbotsway, Papin, Joesbury, Wolf, and Wilson. The media ban was lifted and details of the investigation were publicly released. What they had was about 80 unidentified DNA profiles, roughly half male and half female, had been found. Found in his trailer was a loaded .22 revolver with 1 round fired, boxes of .357 Magnum handgun ammunition, night vision goggles, 2 pairs of fox fur-lined handcuffs, a syringe with 3 milliliters of blue liquid inside, and Spanish fly aphrodisiac. He used a specific item on his weapons. I can't repeat what it was.
Yeah.
But he used something on the .22 to act as a silencer. But revolvers are near impossible to silence in that manner. There were 2 videotapes of 2 of Pickton's friends. One told that Pickton said a good way to kill female heroin addicts was to inject them with windshield washer fluid. Second tape said Pickton mentioned killing prostitutes by handcuffing and strangling them, then bleeding and gutting them before feeding them to pigs. There were photos of the contents of a garbage can found in his slaughterhouse, which contained the remains of Mona Wilson. On 9th of December 2007, the jury found him not guilty on 6 counts of first-degree murder, but guilty on 6 counts of second-degree murder. On December 11th, 2007, after reading 18 victim impact statements, he was sentenced to life with no possibility of parole for 25 years, which is the maximum punishment for second-degree murder.
So, with what you read there, I have researched that too, and I've got this. Okay, a lot of this was getting reported in the early as early as 1998, and then as early as 1998 into 1999, this was getting reported from people. The police were receiving tips that his clothing was bloody. They would go check his farm equipment out. There were certain farm equipments that had names that they were telling them, go check this out, see what's going on. They were also connecting to all the people that were coming up missing in that area, I guess, or whatever was going on at that time for people to start missing. And with him showing up to these businesses and just out in town with bloody clothes and people reporting this, but I guess the police didn't investigate because they thought because he ran that pig farm, maybe the blood was coming from the pigs. But
Right.
people, you get several calls coming in like this. Why did you not go on out sooner to investigate this? Maybe even told them, hey, when you go out in public, don't wear clothes with blood on it, scaring people. They're starting to think stuff and things like that. But they didn't even bother to fool with this. And then it wasn't until 2002, February 6th of 2002, the police had issued a search warrant to go out to Robert Pickton's house, the pig farmer's house. And this is where it gets interesting. When they get there to start searching, they found an inhaler that belonged to one of the women that was murdered. And then that's where they decided to go further. And that's when they started finding all these bodies and all the equipment that they've already got tips on before. So this is what's led them to search the whole premises at this time, was finding this woman's inhaler. And not only was it her inhaler, but they found other belongings to the people that came up missing. And they started running DNA off of the stuff that was missing, the belongings, like clothing or inhalers, stuff like that. And that's how they was able to find out who these people were.
Well, there was a barrel he kept out there somewhere, and he filled it up with all of them shoes.
And it says that they found human remains and body parts and DNA from several women in freezers, also on personal items and possible farm equipment during all this search.
Damn.
So, I mean, he was putting them in the freezers and they were able to get DNA off of this.
Basically preserving the evidence by doing so.
Yes.
Go potty.
They had to recall a lot of meat up there in Canada because of it.
Ugh.
There was also something I've got wrote down too here. I can't find it in my notes. That he has been killing people. He started murdering people like in 1978 or 1979. So all this been going on that whole time. And then when people got suspicious in 1998 through 1999, the police wouldn't do anything about it.
Wow.
So it's weird. So Nikita, what do you have?
Too much.
Well, go ahead.
I don't even know where to start. Well,
Outcast, you feeling any better?
I'm dealing with a slight headache, but I'm alright.
I understand.
I thought taking a nap would hurt or help, but no, it just seemed like it made it worse.
Thought taking a nap would
Yeah.
hurt.
No.
I feel you. I got a headache too. And my stomach is bothering me.
No, damn. It's like the allergy aspect is alright because it rained yesterday, so like that helped with all the pollen and stuff, but I just had a headache all day today.
I'm pee and poop.
See, Pickton was also charged in 1997
That's
over a
the
knife
thing.
attack.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
Tent,
Come on.
rainbow.
So,
And a rainbow.
He was just knife happy, wasn't he?
There's a rainbow.
yes, he was. He just got them all with whatever he could, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Honestly, all I have is a bunch of the dates for the victims.
That's all right.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Hold on, let me come down real quick. I'm gonna mute my thing.
So you take from 1997 when he was charged with attempted murder in 1997. Okay, then in early 1998, the reports started coming in through 1999 about his blood on the clothes to investigate him, go out, and they just wouldn't do nothing. Why would you ignore that knowing that he had this attempted murder charge from 1997 with a
These are all
knife
reported
attack?
missing.
And then you got the tips coming in a year later to 2 years, and you're not doing anything about it until 2002.
So what you could do is give me this real quick. Oh, that was already mentioned.
Yeah.
Damn it.
There's all this to the next one.
Okay, so
I was unprepared.
Usually, I have all my stuff marked like number 1, number 2, number 3 paragraphs that I'm going to look at and discuss.
So,
Stupid ones.
yeah. And then Pickton. Yep. I mean, there's like a lot. Oops. Of names and whatnot. I mean, you could probably read off like a few of the names, but those are like this one here, count 22. She was discovered. And then, if you want, you can just go. Oh, that was already read too, huh?
Yeah. Majority of the stuff that was already been read, it's already in my notes.
Oh, well. But this part here was not mentioned, so I would read this section after all those other ones.
Okay.
My head hurts.
So, on December 9th, 2007, Pickton was convinced of second-degree murder and death of 6 women. He also stood accused of first-degree murder and the death of 21 other women. These charges were stayed on August 4th, 2010. Da-da-da. Pickton was implicated in deaths, but not charged with the murders of 4 of those women. After Pickton was arrested, witness Lynn Ellingson came forward to authorities claiming to have seen Pickton skinning a woman hanging from a meat hook 4 years earlier.
Damn.
Holy cow.
And claimed she had not told anyone about it for out of the fear of losing her life. However, Ellison admitted that she had blackmailed Pickton about the incident on more than one occasion. There was a victim's children filed a civil lawsuit in May 2013 against Vancouver Police Department for failing to protect victims. They reached a settlement in March 2014. Each child was compensated $50,000, equivalent to $65,575 in 2025, without admission of liability. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Very sadistic man.
Yep. He had problems.
Yeah, I'll say.
Alrighty, so but now while Robert Pickton was in prison there in Canada, now it's like he got a payback for what he done to all these people. The pig farmer was actually murdered in prison. So when he was going up to get his medication, when it was time, he must have some health problems or something. I don't know, but he was going to take some medication. And when they were standing in line, one of the inmates got a hold of a broom, broke the handle, and stabbed Robert Pickton, the pig farmer, in the face with a broken broomstick.
Damn. Brutal.
You know that shit had to hurt.
Right?
This is while they're waiting to take medication. So I'm wondering if he was taking crazy medication.
Right.
Now it gets even better than this. The prison guards quickly, when this altercation happened, the prison guards quickly ran and took care of this. But apparently before the inmate took the broken broom handle, there was already an altercation between Robert Pickton, the pig farmer, and that inmate. So the pig farmer must have been saying some things that this inmate did not like. Maybe other inmates were feeling uncomfortable around him. So this is what caused this. So when all this altercation started, that inmate must have found a way to get to the supply closet. And apparently they're at this particular place, this prison, wherever they were at, whatever they call it there in Canada, the inmates had access to the supply closet. They did not keep it locked.
I want to color.
So that's how the inmate was able to get a hold of the broom and break the handle and stab him in the face, stab Robert Pickton in the face with it.
Favorite color.
Now, whereabouts in the face, I don't know, but Robert Pickton did not die right then. He lived like another week, because I believe this happened like on the 24th of May of 2024, I believe, because he died in 2024, right?
May 19th, 2024.
Yeah.
Okay, May 19th. Alrighty. So it happened right around that time. Okay, so let's say he died a week later. I'm guessing complications due to his injuries. He was in ICU, stuff like that. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. So I was curious to why this happened and why did he get stabbed in the face with a broken broomstick? What led this up? The man who stabbed him was in prison, and his name was Martin Charest. If I'm pronouncing it right. Martin Charest.
Yeah.
He's the one that did this because Robert Pickton, a.k.a. the pig farmer, was bragging to him and other inmates that if he got released from prison, he was going to do this again. He was going to kill more people. And not only was this is where it gets worse and gets sick, he was even talking about cannibalism with children. So this upset that Martin Charest, and he was like, But I mean, the dude was already in prison, so I don't think he was going to be getting parole or unless, because I mean, he was convicted in 2002. This is 2024 when all this occurred. Unless there was something going on that we don't know about. Maybe he was getting ready to go up for parole now or something, but he was making these brags that he was going to do this again and that he would be doing it all over. So he had no shame in his game.
Right.
And he was just an evil person, and then talking about cannibalism. So what got me, if he was talking about cannibalism to these inmates, especially this Martin Cheris, could there be a possible chance? And I'm not saying this happened. I'm just asking, conspiracy here. Could he had already done this to children and we don't know anything about it?
Right.
Because if he's doing cannibalism with the children, that means he had to already done this or something, but they couldn't get no bodies or nothing because, well, guess what? He basically ate them. And he could have gave the children's remains to the pigs, like the bones and stuff.
Right.
He could gave them and kept the meat. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's what actually happened. So I'm going to put that out there so nobody twists my words around that I said it did. No, I did not. I'm just curious to wonder, because if he's talking about that in prison to people, or was past tense, was talking about that, did he actually do this in past?
Right.
And that was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But somehow or another, the investigation, when this happened to Pickton in prison, the investigators interviewed 35 staff members from the prison and other institutions. And they learned that inmates had access to cleaning supplies and other tools and stuff like that were not locked up. The inmates had access to all of this.
Yeah.
So, and while he was in prison, while Robert Pickton was in prison, he was in maximum security at that. So apparently maximum security couldn't even help this man at that point in time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like he got paid back for all the horrible things he was doing. Now, he knew what his victims felt like where he was stabbing them. Now, he done went and got stabbed with a broken broomstick in the face.
Right.
And he had to live a whole week. Or a few days there in ICU just like this. Also, he told the investigators while he was in the hospital which inmate did this to him. And when they sat down with the inmate, that's when they found out the inmate started testifying to all of this. Now, I don't know, because I didn't pull this part up. I don't think this happened. The inmate who killed Robert Pickton, Martin Cheris, I don't think they charged him with another crime, because the way the investigation went and getting his testimony, and they probably heard this through other inmates, that he said when he got released, he was going to do this again, and with the cannibalism to the children. So it may have been that they were just going to leave that one alone and just roll that one right on off. Now, if he was in trouble and Martin Cheris was in trouble and got in trouble for the death of Robert Pickton, aka the pig farmer, you'll have to Google that for yourself, because I don't know for sure, but I think from what I read and my understanding of what I did pick up from this man, he was not charged. But I want you to go back and double check me on this if you're watching this live or this video catching the replay. So you can go back and recheck Martin Cheris, the man who killed Robert Pickton, aka the Canadian pig farmer. So therefore, I think it was just, with this man's background all these years, and he going back to 1978 to 1979, when supposedly that's when he first started. But he confessed to 49 murders. But he also confessed that he wanted to kill one more, like Toxic said earlier, too.
So Cherished was actually charged.
He was actually charged?
Yeah, in July 2025, Charis was charged with first-degree murder. He pleaded guilty, saying he did it for Pickton's victims.
Okay. I'm glad you found that. Because that makes me feel much better. So now everybody, you heard what Nikita just said. Martin Charis was found guilty of first-degree murder of, you said first degree, right?
First-degree murder.
Yeah, of Robert Pickton, a.k.a. the pig farm, the Canadian pig farmer. How many years did he get out of that?
It doesn't say, it just said that he was charged and pleaded guilty.
Does it say anything if they gave him a light sentence because of his testimony from what he was hearing, or?
Not that I can find.
Okay. There was something else I was just thinking. Okay, do you know why Martin Charis was in prison to begin with?
Let's find out.
Because I think that's what I was going to pull up, and I never got to that. Because I was trying to get a lot of stuff on that Martin Charis as well. But I've also decided I thought I had enough to go on here, which I did. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong notes there. I was about to go back to the Black Dahlia, y'all. I was really fixing to have everybody confused because I was fixing to pull up 150 suspects involved in this.
Something matter with you, Abe?
The rabbit. I was poor.
Don't blame it on the rabbit.
The poor two innocent rabbits. That poor rabbit I had to. Toxic, you said in 2007 he was convicted on 6 counts of second-degree murder, right?
Yeah. They didn't get him on first degree. They got him on second degree.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Why didn't they get him on first degree? Why did they get him on second?
I don't know. It should have been first degree.
Because he intentionally was picking these people up. And I did do research. I thought I wrote it down. I know I wrote it down in here somewhere, but I can't find it in my notes. Or did I just pull it up and read on it and thought I wrote it down and forgot to, or decided not to, or something. But anyways, I pulled up and I Googled it. Why did he do this to these women? Or I think I Googled it, why he murdered all these people. And it said because most of them were, I don't know if I can really say the words as prostitute, a nice word to say on a live, but because when you do research, it's got another word I just didn't want. I think prostitute would be a nicer word. But it said it prostitutes and those addicted to drugs. Those were the ones he targeted. And it said something about most of them didn't even have a family. So he knew that nobody was going to be missing these people. And when they, so I don't know why I just said, I hate that word. But when he was picking them up. He thought he'd never get caught doing this, for one thing, because they didn't have families. From what I understood in research, they did not have any family that would miss them. Some, I think, were just traveling through. That's a lot of them may not even been from Canada. They're just, probably coming from America across the line, maybe, or other nations or something like that. And probably some of them were homeless. They're in Canada, maybe, what I'm guessing. But the way I understood, they just didn't have nobody, no friends, no family. Nobody was going to miss these people. And that's where it all began with him. So he knew he could get by with it for many years like that.
So, I did find out that information you wanted to know on Cherished. He was serving at that time 8 years in prison for a sentence of armed robbery and received an automatic life sentence with no parole for 25 years for the murder of Robert Pickton.
He received what now?
25 years with no parole for
For the
murdering Robert
murder.
Pickton.
And he was only going to serve 8 for armed robbery.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're in hell and you ain't getting out, you might as well just do the do. Sounds like to me at the end, Pickton got what was coming to him.
Yeah.
It was just like that
I'd
was.
say so.
Definitely.
I mean, seriously, if you was in that guy's, what's the word I'm looking for? The Martin Cherish situation. That's the word I'm trying to think. If you're in his situation and you got an inmate that you're in prison with, been in there with for a while, and hearing this type of language come from this man, what would you do? He's talking about possibly cannibalism to children. He's admitting to you that if he gets out of prison on parole and stuff, he will do all of this all over again. So Martin Cherish thought he was doing the public service a good deed.
Yeah.
And to me, this man probably was doing a good deed. I mean, I don't agree with him what he did by killing the man, but at the same time, to me, that should have been probably ruled more as self-defense, because you already got a man that was picking random people that had no family or friends to miss. So he knew what he was doing.
I'd have took him out too.
Mm.
I know one thing. If I was
can't
one of
deal
his,
with somebody after children. I can't handle that.
right. And that's what that Martin Cherish probably did. I know one thing. If I was his victim, if I was one of his victims and I didn't make it to heaven and I went to hell and he was there in hell, I would spit roast him. I would spit roast him and put him on one of those things, what is it called that you see in these movies or people do at cookouts? They put a pig with an apple in its mouth and spin it around over fire.
The rotisserie?
Yeah, like a rotisserie, but it's made out of wood or something, metal, and they spinning it. I will build one of them in the pits of hell and stick him right in it and put something right in his mouth and spin him around the fire.
Yeah.
No. Not on this one.
I know that sounds horrible, don't it?
Could be worse.
And I'm just saying that if I was one of his victims and I was there with
Outcast.
Mm.
That's Nikita. That's Outcast.
oh,
That's Grandma.
got the little one again.
Daddy.
Yeah. That's Abe.
Baba.
I mean, I just should have said what I just said. Kind of starting to feel guilty now. But I think we covered. I think we did pretty good covering the bases on this.
No. You can say hi from back here.
I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, Abe, get back over here to this one that you need to be on.
Let go.
I'm trying to go back to the Black Dahlia again.
No go. I'm gonna spank your butt.
But yeah, Robert Pickton, I'm reading here too. He bragged about all of this.
Yep.
I mean, and that poor man, Martin Cheris, only had 8 years.
Air out your face.
Mhm.
8 years in this.
Right?
And then got 25 out of it because of that. So that man has got, see, that happened in 2024. So let's just go from 2024 to, he got 25 years. Depending on his age, he probably just gave himself 5 sentence.
No.
Depending on Martin Cheris's age.
Mhm.
That. Well, I guess that's all we have for tonight. Anybody else got anything to add or say to this?
No.
You sound bad, Outcast.
It's because I'm getting tired.
I know, you're not feeling good still, are you?
And that's this headache.
We probably should have canceled this.
It's
Did
fine. I'm here.
Well, when all that went on with me a couple of hours ago, I was like, I don't know what to do. I've done got this set. I done went on StreamYard, set the time, date. I didn't know. Everyone, I tell you what, guys, there will not be a show on Friday night unless I just go live myself, because the research that goes into this, I know I told you all that's watching Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, but the research that comes along with it, I didn't realize what was going to happen. It just kind of worked out different than what I had pictured in my mind and the way my brain works. Nobody say anything before y'all say anything. I know.
I was about to.
I knew what everybody was thinking as soon as I said that. But guys, we're probably going to do this either 1 or 2 nights a week on the murder mysteries instead, because once you get into, like we did with this Canadian pig farmer and the Black Dahlia, there's a lot that gets into it, and then you start raising questions in your own mind through research, and then you're kind of questioning, well, who was this victim? Or just like with this Martin Cheris, well, why did he kill Pickton for? And what was he already in prison for? It's stuff like that, and you start researching, and it's just on, and we're having to take notes and things like that too. And then you got your personal life you're going through, and then you get sick, and other things starts happening. Just like, well, on my end, I had a couple of things start happening about 2 hours before I came live, and I was pushing it. And I've already had it all set. And if I didn't have this set, because I set this at 6 o'clock today to come live, if I did not set this up on StreamYard to advertise for everybody to come on at 9, I would probably had rescheduled this myself. But it just takes so much, and I hope you guys understand. But I'm going to try on my own, just go live like I did the last couple of nights too by myself. But I need a moderator with me at all times. And for you all that's watching this live, I want to make a point. My YouTube channel is set for not made for kids. Has been since 2019 when I started. I had a 11-year-old to come up into my live last night, and I'm holding a conversation with this 11-year-old like she was an adult. And there at the end, she says, I'm 11. I was like, what do you mean you're 11? And she says, I'm 11 years old. And I said, you're not allowed in here. My stuff is set for no kids. It's only adults only. So parents, please be sure if you don't care for your child, which a lot of my content anyways can be for kids and adults, unless it comes to these crime shows like we're doing tonight. But your child is not allowed on my YouTube channel at all. Only time your child is allowed on my YouTube channel is only if an adult is okay with it, an adult is there in the presence. I mean, if you're fine with your child, I'm okay with that. But do not let your child leave comments and tell me how old they are or try to have a conversation with me. That is a no-no unless adult is present. And I don't mean to sound rude or mean or hateful like that. I'm just trying to get to that point that my channel is set for these reasons, because I mean there are
Yeah,
adults.
this content is not made for kids.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
And there's sometimes when I do go live, I mean, I don't cuss in my videos. I don't do anything out of the way. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke or anything like that. Sometimes I might have some guests that will smoke something, you know, not drugs or tobacco products, what I'm trying to say. But I wanted to throw that out of the way real quick because that kind of bothered me and concerned me. But my content is usually, you know, it's pretty smooth. I plan on doing exploring, but just make sure that if your child is going to watch my content, they have your permission and that you did hear it from the host that, hey, he wants permission from the adult. And I mean, if you're a parent and you're like, hey, my child likes your show, I've seen your videos, I have no problem with it, just leave me a comment. As long as I got your permission and it's written in the comments, I'm okay. But make sure your child does not get out of line and start saying crazy stuff either. So, but that's about it. Do y'all agree with what I'm saying here?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Please share and like the video and subscribe and share out with everyone. Don't forget the main important thing. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and share out. Thank you, guys.
I got hard.